Hello everyone, you are welcome into another tutorial, and in today's tutorial we'll be sewing a kimono gown. To know the amount of fabric you'll be using, you measure from your back to where you want your fabric to stop at the shoulder area. So mine is 17 and my fabric is already in 4-fold. So I'll be using the selvage edge as the starting point of our markings. So once I'm done rolling down, the next thing I will do is to measure the neck width. Because it's a kimono gown, so we don't need to follow the 3-inch, 8-inch standard. So the neck width I'll be working with is 6 inches. So I'll mark it out. And the neck depth I'll be working with is 4 inches. So once I'm done marking, I'll be connecting the neckline. So the neckline we are creating is called boat neckline. So once I'm done connecting, the next thing is to create our shoulder slope. But before we do that, we need to measure out that 17 inches point first. So once I'm done marking, I'll note the 17 inches point. So it is from that point that I'll be coming down by 1.5 inches. So once I'm done marking that, I'll be connecting with my straight ruler. And the reason we are creating the shoulder slope is so that our kimono will not be gaping at the shoulder area. So once I'm done connecting, to note the chest line, from that point I'll be coming down by 10 inches for the armhole opening. So I'll measure what we have there. We're having a total of 12 inches from the base. So I'll repeat the same marking at the center of our fabric. This is for us to have a perfect straight line. So once I'm done noting that point, I'll take my ruler to connect, but I'll be connecting a dotted line because we don't actually need that line, but we only need the position where the line is stopping. So it is on that point now that I'll be marking our bust. Quarter of my bust is 11 inches. Then I'll be adding 2 inches to my measurement, making 13 inches. So I'll mark it out. So the next thing we do now is to measure my hip. So from the base now, my hip is 26 inches. So I'll repeat the same thing at the center of our fabric. We will not be needing our waist measurement in this tutorial. So I'll be connecting also with a dotted line. And like I told you earlier, the reason we are connecting is just for us to note the points where we'll be placing our measurements. So once I'm done marking, then I'll be inputting my hip measurement. Quarter of my hip measurement is 12 inches. Then I'll be adding 2 inches to it, like we did for the chest line. So making 14 inches. So I'll mark it out. If I want it to be straight, I'll just take that 14 inches to the hem, but because I want to utilize the total amount of fabric we are having, so I'll be measuring 17 inches at the hem. Then I'll come in by 1 inch for the sewing allowance. So I'll be adding 1 inch sewing allowance to the hip area, as well as the chest line also. And once I'm done marking that, I'll be connecting with my straight ruler. So I'll be connecting from the chest line to the hip line now. Then I'll repeat the same thing on the sewing allowance. Then I'll be connecting from the hip line to the hem. So I'll repeat the same thing on the sewing allowance. The reason we connect separately is because the two lines are not matching, but we need to connect them. So I'll now be using my curve ruler to blend in the hip line, the point where the two lines meet, so that we can have a perfect straight line. So we are done with this side. So we'll go to the chest line now and connect with my straight ruler. So once I'm done connecting, I will now use my free hand to curve it in so that I can eliminate the sharp edge. You can see the way I did it. So I'll measure 1 inch sewing allowance at the armhole area as well. So I'll connect it. Sorry, the chalk break there. So I'll blend it in properly. So now we go to the hem of our gown and come up by 1.5 inch so that we can eliminate the sharp edge at the hem. Then I'll blend it in with my curve ruler. Then I will use my straight ruler to mark the sewing allowance. And once I'm done connecting, I'll go back to the neck area. I want to reduce my neck width by ½ inch. I don't want it to be too wide. So the total amount of neck width we are using now is 5.5 inches instead of the previous 6 inches. So I'll reconnect my neckline. So once I'm done connecting, we can start cutting our fabric. So we follow the curve that we created at the hem and cut it in gradually to the side. Then if you notice, I'm using my hand as a guide so that the fabric can lay flat. The total amount of fabric I use for this kimono is 2 yards. And like I said earlier, to know the amount of fabric you'll be working with, you measure from your back, that is the center of your neckline, so straight down to your arm. Then you note where you want it to stop. For mine, I stop at 17. If I didn't want it to be that long, I can stop at 15. So it depends on your preference. So now we are cutting the new neckline. Then we'll be cutting the shoulder line now. So once I'm done cutting, I'll be cutting the armhole area. That is the sleeve part. I'll be giving you a secret technique to your shoulder area. By the time you want to cut the sleeve area, you go in by ½ inch to meet the 17 inches point. And the sleeve will now be slanted, and by the time we are done sewing our fabric, it will be sitting well on the shoulder line. So we are done cutting all our fabric now, both the front and the back. So I'll be turning it around to adjust it properly. So our fabric is right side facing each other. So we adjust the fabric and place the shoulder area matching the two sides. So once I'm done matching, I'll be stitching ½ inch on both sides. So once I'm done stitching, I'll be showing us. So I've stitched down the shoulder area, then I've ironed it down. So the next thing we do now is to turn our neckline with bias. So we'll be turning our fabric to the right side. Then we'll place our bias on it from the right side. Then turn it into the wrong side. So once I'm done doing that, I'll be showing us. So I've turned the neckline with our bias. You can see it's laying flat and I've already ironed it. So the next thing we do now is to cut out the sleeve band. So we'll measure our sleeve for both the front and the back. So we measure, you can see the way I open it up, we're having 19.5 inch. So I'll be cutting the total of 22 inches. It is better to have excess than to have a shortage. So I've already cut it out. So it is 22 by 4 inches. You can see 22. By the time we open it up, it is 4 inches. And I've already added my interfacing to it for stability. So we fold it over. Then we'll be sewing in ½ inch on the edge. So by the time we are done sewing, we'll be having 1½ inches extension. And I've already cut the two band. So the next thing we do now is to fold it into two to note the midpoint. Then I will notch it. And once I'm done notching, I'll be matching it to the shoulder line. Then I'll pin it down for both the front and the back, aligning the center. You can see the way I placed it. So once I'm done clipping that side, then we'll sew in ½ inch. Then I'll be repeating the same thing on the other side. So once I'm done stitching, I'll be bringing this for us to see. So I've stitched down the two band, both for the right and the left side. And the next thing we do now is to trim down the sewing allowance so that we can reduce the bulkiness on that area. And kindly note, if we are creating a turn-up sleeve, instead of attaching it from the right side, we'll be attaching our band from the wrong side. Then we'll now flip it over to the right side. So let me trim it off camera, then I'll be showing us the final look. So I've trimmed down the two sleeves, then I've ironed it down facing the fabric. Then I've already clipped it on the armhole. You can see I match the two edges together, then I clip it down. So I repeat the same thing for the other side as well. So I'll be turning it around now so that we can be sewing down our 1 inch on the side. So we'll be stitching it down by 1 inch on the side all through to the hem. Once we are done with that side, we'll repeat the same thing on the second side. And by the time we are done stitching that side, we'll be folding in the raw edges of our fabric. So we turn it in. Once I'm done doing that, I'll bring it for us to see. So I've stitched down the fabric on both sides, taking in the 1-inch sewing allowance that we added. Then I'll be trimming off the excess fabric on the sleeve area now. So once I'm done doing that, I'll be turning it around to show us the hem. You can see we have sewn the hem. So before we turn it to the right side, we need to notch the armhole area. So I'll be notching it so that it can lay flat by the time we turn it around. So I'll repeat the same thing on the second side as well. So once I'm done notching, we'll be turning it to the right side now for us to see the final look. You can see the way it lay flat. By the time I flip off the other side as well, you will see. So the next thing I'll be doing now is to take it to the ironing board and iron it out properly. This is the outcome we have after giving it a good press. You can see it's laying flat and looking beautiful. And if you have any question regarding this tutorial, I will be in the comment section to answer all your questions. If you enjoyed this tutorial, kindly give us a giant thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that you'll be the first to be notified anytime we upload a new video. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for your support and God bless you all. See you in our next video. Bye for now.